this way. But it's actually this way. So you have to be a joker to know this. It's my sunrise. It's my sunrise. It's my way.
Guys, we came back to Mount Scopus. To the right side is the Hebrew University. It's where we were this morning. In front of us is the Russian Church of Ascension, where Jesus is going up to heaven, definitely. So we're going to have one last view over the old city, just like where we were this morning from the bus, and we continue our way to the DeadSea.
DeadSea, you know, the sea is dead.
The sea's dead.
What does DeadSea mean? What does that mean?
Dead sea. No life.
I know why it's not coming. You're supposed to put it where we are. You're supposed to do this. It's only with us.
I told you in the morning that the landscape in Israel will change very quickly, and we have this magical turnout that all the see actually the landscape that we already viewed in the morning. I don't know if you remember that back then, it was a long time ago, and now we are already in the desert. By the way, a definition of a desert is a place where it's rained 200 millimeters of rain per year or less. We are actually in the beginning of the now we're east of Jerusalem. I mentioned that east of Jerusalem it was Jordanian until 67, and today it's annexed to Israel. So we're not in the West Bank yet, but in a few minutes we're gonna pass a checkpoint on the other side and we're gonna enter to the West Bank. For now on, I want you to look in front of us. You can see the very different buildings and very different view in the east of Jerusalem than the west that you already saw. And we saw the panoramic view in a lot of parts of the west of Jerusalem, but if you look to the east, it's look much more Middle East, Arabic, and much more Arabic, just like you see. And now we're passing a checkpoint on the other side. If you look to the right or to the left, you will see a big wall. This is the security fence that was built in 2004 by Ariel Sharon during the second Intifada. So look now to the right and to the left. You can see the fence. You maybe heard about it in the media. its purpose, it's not to separate, it's just to protect, and it's not going exactly in the border of 7, because Jerusalem was divided, and here it's not divided Jerusalem just like in 67, and now we are in the West Bank. Now, although we're gonna spend half our day in the West Bank, we're not gonna feel it too much, the West Bank, like you see in the media, just because we are going in the desert and it's not very disputable area or something interesting to show in the news. The most Palestinian thing you're gonna see today, we're gonna see Jericho from afar, and it's gonna be the cars. If you look at the cars, you're gonna see that some of them have the yellow Israeli car plate, and some of them have green and white car plate that are Palestinian. But if not, we are really in the desert, and it's not the same area that you see in the news. By the way, when I say West Bank, it's kind of a big. Today, 3 different stories. The West Bank, I will say it again, it's what used to be Jordanian till 67. From 67 till 95. Okay. Where was in the story? From this is 67 to 95, it was under Israel, under military regime, and from 95, after the Oslo Agreement, the West Bank is divided to 3 different areas. We have different area A, B, and C. You heard about it in the news or not at all? No, right? They tell you the boring stuff in the news when they can just show a lot of action with no funds. Anyway, so we have area A, B, and C. So it's pretty easy to remember. A is Arab. It's what is under Palestinian control. It's all the big cities. Although it's just 18% of the territory, it's the majority of the population, because it's all the big city. If it's Hebron, Bethlehem, Jericho, Ramallah, Jenin, etc., etc. Area B is between. It's mean that everyday life it's under the Palestinian Authority, but security is under the Israeli control, under Israeli army. And area C it's under Israeli control. Today we're gonna spend here time only in area C. That this is the main road, the national parks, and just area like those. So you're not gonna feel it too much. By the way, can you feel your ears or just me? We're going down now from Mount Scopus, that it's 850 meters above sea level, and we're going to the Dead Sea. Do you know how high is the Dead Sea? It's low. The lowest part. So how much? It's minus 400 meters. It's meaning in 20 minutes we're going down 1200 meters. This is why you feel it in your ears. So it's going very, very rapid, and it's because of the rift, because of the Syrian-African rift. I hope it's something you heard a little bit about it. We have 2 tectonic plates. Actually, they're both going north, but the one in Jordan go faster, so it gives us a big split. And this is what gives us this very big hole where the Dead Sea and the Sea of Galilee is. The mountain of As and of Jordan was the same mountain, just split it into 2 around 20 million years ago. And this is why we're going to the lowest part on Earth. So for the people who are still awake, it's half the group, so it's good enough. Do you have any questions for now? Yeah. In 20 minutes we're there. Everything is quick in Israel. It's very, very quick. It's nice. I told you, more than 20 minutes, it's a long drive. And one night we're already in the desert, and we mentioned that we are in the West Bank. We passed next to an Israeli city called Ma'ale Adumim, now to the right side. The people living here, it's not because they want to live in the West Bank, it's just Jerusalem, it's expensive, and they're looking for a solution outside of the big cities. Maybe it's happening also in your countries. Families that want to buy a house, so they're coming here. It's not very far away from Jerusalem, and they have an industrial area here as well today. Kind of other establishment, and sometimes you will see tents on the side of the road. Those are the Bedouins that live in the desert. We're going to mention them more when we can see one tent, but sometimes you will see all kinds of temporary building like those. Those are the Bedouin. They're Arab and they're the people that are always living in the desert. The Judean desert have sort of the connection with Jerusalem. The people that come to Judean desert, if they are monks or refugee, they usually coming from Jerusalem and they want one day to come back. But we have also the Bedouin, that they are the people who are moving along the desert all the time. It's because you have not enough water, so you must be a nomad and move from place to place to have enough water for your goat, camel, and everything else. So you can still see them sometime on the side of the road. You can see now to the right side some of the Bedouin tents. The Bedouins are Muslim, they're Arab, but they have their own culture. The word Bedouin is coming from the word desert in Arabic. Okay, it's really the people of the desert. Today all the Bedouins are staying in one place. They're no longer moving, but there's still some of them want to keep a more traditional kind of lifestyle. And this is why you see them living in tents. The state of Israel doesn't want that, and the majority of the Bedouin is settled down in big Bedouin cities in north of the Negev desert. But some of them, although they are no longer moving, they still want to be more traditional and not be a part of society. And this is why you see those tents.
That's not correct. You're shouting in my ear.
No.
Sing it again. You have to sing your ABC loud and clear. No, just
Now in a few seconds, to the right side, we're going to see a building that's called the Good Samaritan Museum. It was a church in the Byzantine time that talk about the story of Jesus, of the Good Samaritan. And today there is a museum there that show us, first of all, the Church of the Byzantine, but also mosaic that they found all around the West Bank, especially from the Byzantine time. So it's right here, to the right side above us. You will be able to see a building. So this is the Good Samaritan Museum.
the last.
Okay, the story of the Good Samaritan is the story that Jesus is telling about this passenger that's going from Jerusalem to Jericho and gets marked on the way, and the only person that is willing to help him is the Good Samaritan. They are very low in the Jewish classes in the time of Jesus. So it's a story that tells us we don't need to be rich or in good economical status to help other people. And today, as I mentioned, there is a national park with mosaic that they found from all around the West Bank. You can see how much we're getting into the desert. The Judean desert, I mentioned, it's not a part of the Sahara line desert like the Negev desert. It's a local desert that was created because of the rift. And you can see the rift now in front of us. And the Jordan mountain on the other side. Here is Isaac slowing down if you want to take a picture of the Bedouin tents to the right side. So you can do it now from the bus. This one is slowing down. And you can see also how they live. The herb, the tents. And fire. Okay, he said he will be stopping in a second and he will be able even to take a picture of the people. Stopping for us. Thank you so much, Isaac. Very nice. You can see how some of the people are living. Yeah, well. Okay, we're donkey, we have the kid and the woman. Everybody. The kid's looking at us. If you want to take a picture, do it now. So we're going to continue in a second. Thank you very much, Isaac, and we'll continue our way toward the lower part of the Dead Sea.
I think now you. I think. Ah, you missed that. But I'll ask. I like your hand. That's how you sing it.
Look in front of us, we can already see the Dead Sea and the Jordanian mountains and the river. Okay. Is everybody brought their snorkel? We're going under the sea level. You must have a diving equipment. You didn't take your equipment? No, so you're gonna take a very big breath. Because we're going now, we're getting to the sea level point where the camel is, just in front of us. So get ready, take a very big breath. You didn't bring your snorkeling device. Okay.
Below sea level.
Yeah, Isaac is slowing down for us to take a picture of the sign and the camel if you want. And now we're getting to the sea level, just like Tel Aviv. Camels always belong to somebody. We don't have wild camels in Israel anymore.
Hello, camel.
Yeah, touristic. They belong to the Bedouins that we took their picture over there. So now we are below the sea level, diving, glue, glue, glue.
Sea level.
Below the sea.
Below sea level.
יש כמה ערים שם שהם
To Dead Sea.
I want to be a bee.
So we are all very good divers, I say. And we're gonna get down to 400 meters. We can already again see the rift in front of us. Now we're gonna see Jericho from afar. Jericho is one of the oldest cities on earth. It has 10,000 years of history, or more exactly of archaeology, because it's even before history. It's also the date industry. They are the main farming in all area, from Elat till the Sea of Galilee, a lot of date, because the only one who can also survive the summer. A lot of winter agriculture, but during the summer the dates survive, and this is why it's the main farming that you're gonna see.
No one.
Here you see in front of us, we are already in minus 150 meters. Well done, we already went down almost 1,000 meters from Jerusalem. Amazing. Anyway, look in front of us to the right, you can already see the beginning of the Dead Sea, where we're gonna be, and to the left side we have the beautiful city of Jericho, the palm city, with all the palm trees. And we mentioned how old it is. Jericho, it's coming from the Hebrew word Yareh, mid-moon. Maybe they used to worship the moon. Not sure. But in our left side, this is all Jericho. It's that they drink a lot of water. So in Israel, the farmer, they use recycled water on them because they can clean the water. So to save as much water as possible, we use recycled water. Because a palm tree, not like a regular desert tree, it's drink a lot. And if you hadn't tried a date while you're in Israel, you should definitely try. We're selling them also abroad. It's not only for Israel, all the day that you see. A lot being sold abroad, but in Israel, they're very good as well. Guys, now if you look to the left or the right side, you will see a very soft stone, a very soft sedimentary stone now, to the left and to the right. This tells us the geological story of the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea was created by a very ancient sea that was here in the last ice age, called the Lisan Lake, and it existed here till the last ice age, and from that point forward, we're in the desert. So the lake that started in the south of the evaporation post and arrived to the Sea of Galilee, a very, very large lake, then in the desert. So what happened to all the water? Just evaporate. And what stay after the water evaporate? Salt. A lot of salt. Today, the Dead Sea is 33% salt. You know how much is a regular sea, like the Mediterranean? No? 3%. So it's 10 times more salty than a regular sea. The Mediterranean is 3.3 and the Red Sea is 3.6. It's much, much saltier. And of course, what else we can find in the Dead Sea? It's a lot of mineral. When we get to the Dead Sea, you're going to see that the entrance to the Dead Sea is not sandy and flat like in Tel Aviv. It's rocky and there's a lot of mud. And the mud of the Dead Sea became very famous. You know why? It's good for your skin. There's a lot of minerals. Because when the water evaporates, there's a lot of minerals that stay as well. It's actually Mitzpeh Shalem, one of the kibbutz that discovered it in the 60s back then. And they started a line of cosmetics products. And today it's sold all around the world. So before you enter the Dead Sea, try some of the mud. Put it on your skin. Let it dry and then enter to the Dead Sea with it. Okay, not on your face, but because it's very salty today, the mud over there. But the rest you can put, and then you see the difference in your skin before and after. So I definitely recommend you to try it. The Dead Sea kept pretty much the same balance for around 20,000 years since then, the last ice age. And in the last, let's say 100, 150 years, this balance is completely broken. if we have an amount of water that arrived to the Dead Sea and then evaporated for it, today much less water arrived to the Dead Sea than it used to, because we use all the source of the water of the Dead Sea. If it's us, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, but especially Israel, all the sources that need to arrive to the Dead Sea are fresh water. So we use all this water, and the Dead Sea doesn't get water like it used to, but it keeps evaporating water. So the Dead Sea is disappearing. It's very, very sad. Today the Dead Sea is going down in 1 meter in height every year. So if it's flat area, like you see to the left side, it can be 20, 30 meters, 50 meters, that is just shrinking. It's the biggest ecological crisis that we have today in Israel, or in Jordan, because it's the sea, it's between us. The mountain on the other side are always Jordan. And the border between us and Jordan passes in the middle of the Jordan River, and then in the middle of the Dead Sea. And you can see all the areas that used to be a part of the sea and today are dry completely. And it's a very problematic, because we have no way to give it back except to have enough water and to let the natural water source to come back to the Dead. It's not happening yet. So enjoy while you're here, because maybe next time you're gonna come, it's gonna be much smaller, and it's very, very sad. So now we arrived to the north part of the Dead Sea, and we're gonna enter to the water in a second. Is somebody in the group never been in the Dead Sea before? So this is the majority of the group. So everybody listen up, because it's very important. Some safety instruction. The most important thing is that you don't put your face in the water, okay? No jumping, no splashing, I don't know, no running into the water. You keep very calm. You go into the water, you float on your back. You can stand up, you're still gonna float. Don't go on your stomach, because then you might have some water enter your eyes. It's not nice. In case a drop of water enter your eye, you don't need to panic. It will burn. Just go outside of the Dead Sea and wash it with a lot of fresh water. If you have any cuts, any wound or something open, it might burn. If you don't have anything, usually you discover new cuts in the Dead Sea. This is what's happening today. Yeah, if you shave last night, I'm sorry. But again, you can never know. So try to get in and you see what's burn or not burning. If you have jewelry, take them out before entering the water, because the salt might ruin them. Again, 33% salt. The salt is dehydrating, so drink a lot of water. By the way, if you take a bottle of water with you, it will float next to you. I tried that many times. Yeah. He said again, if you want to buy water, it's much cheaper on the bus. What else? I forgot to tell you. When you're entering the Dead Sea, it's not sandy. It's very slippery, muddy, rocky. You don't want to get new cuts before entering the water. So have slipper with you. Don't go barefoot. And also, the ground is very hot. So that's it. Only 38 degrees. Oh, it's not even 40. It's a cold day. Anyway, sunblock, hats, water, really take care of yourself. We're here to have fun. We don't want to end up today in the hospital. So please take care of yourself. It's very, very important to me. You can leave stuff on the bus. If you take your valuable with you, don't leave them unattended at the Dead Sea beach, because you might have pickpockets over there. So always leave somebody to guard your stuff, because it can happen. Don't forget your bathing suit, your towel, you have where to shower and everything else. By the way, over here in the Dead Sea, so I told you should try some of the mud. You have the natural mud. You even have Vashov, that they are the most famous branch of the Dead Sea product that's selling all the mud and cosmetic lotion, salt and everything else. It's much cheaper than abroad. So you can even get it here. It's Ava, it's the most famous one. And the most important thing is that you really take care of yourself and don't dehydrate or anything. We're gonna be here. Let's see what's the time here. Okay. Now it's 2 and 10 minutes. 3:45, so 3:45. We're gonna meet back. I will tell you exactly where. It's gonna be in the aircon. 3:45. Already know the time. Okay. After, of course, showering, bathing, and everything else, we're gonna have enough time for everything. And of course, after the bathroom, and after that, we're going back to Tel Aviv. Do you have any question for now? No.